Well, hello friends! Let me tell you the tale of four adventurers from Troll School Alley. They would open a restaurant called the Scorched Troll and go on to live quite spectacular lives. Of course, we all remember how it started. The day they walked a troll right down the high road. Oh, what a scene it was! Children cheered, guards gawked, women wailed. It was attracting the attention of the whole city. Of course, with such a spectacle, it was to no one's surprise that opening night was a hit. They even had the troll serving drinks. But who were these intriguing entrepreneurs? It so happens I knew them quite well. Baracus Creed was a mysterious fellow, charming and debonair indeed, but was also very private about the particulars of his businesses. You see, after the success of the Scorched Troll, Baracus would go on to open dozens of restaurants all over WaterDeep, all of which found tremendous success, and all of which had one strange thing in common. It would appear as though Baracus was truly a chef among chefs, as he was able to perfectly make the signature dishes of WaterDeep's most famous chefs throughout history. Dishes that were thought lost to the past were suddenly back, recipes so rare, which people assumed the famed chefs had taken with them to the grave, were suddenly coming steaming hot out of the kitchen, as if they had come back to life. Now, unfortunately, no one was ever allowed to go into the kitchen to see our Master Chef Baracus work his magic. As I mentioned, he is a private fellow, but he is often found paying his respects late at night to the famed deceased chefs in the city of the dead. Now, Baracus may have been the talent, but it was his brother's wit which led them to lasting success. Shaka Creed was the strong, penitent sort, very humble in his demeanor, but quite dangerous indeed with the sharpness of his blade, and even more so with the sharpness of his tongue. Shaka would become a champion businessman, heading up all operations of his brother's restaurants. His shrewdness turned a clever trick into a booming empire. Purchasing property all over the city, he was able to turn the brothers' 15 seconds of fame into an ever-flowing fountain of gold, making him one of the most influential patrons WaterDeep had ever known. So influential, in fact, it caught the eye of the ruling class, and Shaka was made the first ever tiefling Master of the Treasury. Under his time, the city saw a boom in charitable donations, raising more families out of poverty than most thought even possible. One such charity, which saw the benevolence of Shaka's influence, was an orphanage owned by his dear friend. One Hannah Thicok Thok owned a, orphanage of sorts. He and his wife, Yagra Stonefist, after discovering Thick's impotence, dedicated their lives to raising as many children in need as possible, possibly compensating. Thick purchased a small fleet made up of almost a dozen ships and would house the orphans there. He taught them the trades of the ocean and skills of a modern seaman, making it his personal goal to make as many seamen as seemingly possible. The children would climb, play, have food and shelter, learn and grow, and once old enough could be hired by practically any trade ship leaving Waterdeep Harbor, bound for adventure. Even now, they say that Thick seaman can be found across the world, covering the globe in his tender love. But what of the last member of this intriguing tale? Dexter Bloodworth could be standing in an empty room right in front of your eyes, and you would hardly notice he was even there. A seemingly unremarkable man. The last confirmed time anyone saw him, he was being lowered down into that very hole right here in the yawning portal. The rumors of piles of gold hidden in the Undermountain must have proved too alluring, for despite his compatriot's success, Dex seemed obsessed with what may lay beneath. Sadly, he was never seen again. That is to say, there was never another confirmed sighting of Dexter Bloodworth. You see, several days after he was lowered down into that dark, dismal hole, there was a great rumbling from the cliffs overlooking the sea. A winged shadow flew over the city as thousands of eyes gazed upward. There on the cliffs was the first dragon anyone had seen in almost a century. But what many didn't see was the inconspicuous figure standing next to that dragon, a figure who clutched a small glowing stone as he silently climbed onto the creature's back. The dragon swept over the harbor, rider in tow, never to be seen again. Now, I know my friends are quite impressive and you wish to know more of their adventures. Well, I have good news for you. You can read all about them in my newest book.